Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Taylor and Ryan. How are you guys?
Good morning. We're all good here.
Hey, I was just telling Taylor, Frank, that, you guys made my day. I got an extra R-Town this month. I mean, come on. What could be better?
It's the fifth week.
You made our days, so there you go.
That's what I said to him.
That's right. So it's going to be always good stuff, Paul, because you always have some great information. And, the stuff that you do in people's homes and businesses really, makes it livable. Before the days when there was a plumbing and heating and cooling guy, it was like we were living in teepees, I think.
You know what? Absolutely. Teepees, and you had to pee outside the teepees. So that works really good, right?
Exactly right.
Men still do that.
So, hey, listen, does anybody ever ask for an outhouse these days, Paul? Is that
Nobody's ever asked for an outhouse.
Right.
But we did have an interesting week of pulling things out of toilets. I don't know what happened with people this week, but we were laughing. I will spare you the photos, but I will give you one customer called and toilet didn't flush, and she said, "Well, I spoke to my daughter, and she said her friend dropped a tennis ball in the toilet."
Oh, geez.
So and flush it. So that was fun.
If you drop it, I understand, but how do you flush it?
And
what are you doing with a tennis ball in your hand when you're in the bathroom?
You know what? I didn't really ask questions of what people do in their bathrooms, and a lot of times I don't want to know, Taylor.
Somebody was serving.
Somebody was serving.
It was 3 Love.
Yeah, 3 Love. We've had that answer too. Okay, a lot of things go on in the bathroom that I don't want to know. Okay, now the other thing is we had our customer drop her perfume bottle in the toilet on Saturday, and unfortunately, that toilet's a lost cause. We could not. It was a metal perfume bottle. The tennis ball we got out. The tennis ball we got out, but the perfume bottle is a new toilet territory.
And, it's the bathrooms. Some of the bathrooms are so small that you have to work around, where the toilet is, and I could see things falling in. And then, of course, Taylor always insists that the seat be put down. She's got this phobia on that thing.
Well, who wants to walk into a bathroom and see a toilet seat up?
I do.
I don't.
Because I want to know why I'm in there.
I don't want to
in case I forget why I went in there.
Taylor, for a change, I am with you. Sorry,
Thank
Frank.
you.
I think all men or boys need to be trained to put the toilet seat down when they're done. Now, if you come to my house, the toilet seat goes automatically down, of course, because it can, because that's what I have.
Of course.
Okay?
There you go.
Of course you do.
I don't even have to bend down to lift it. I move my foot in front of it, and the toilet seat lifts up.
Isn't that great? You don't have to touch anything.
I
don't have to touch anything. All right.
Really?
So, go ahead, Taylor.
No, I was going to say, when you walk in the bathroom, the last thing I want to look at is the inside of the toilet.
Yeah, no, but I guess people leave it open, and then what happens is they're working, and they knock something off the counter.
So my question is, why does a man leave it open? Because if you go to the bathroom, you're going to pick up the other
part. Because we're going to use it again.
Yeah, but don't make the bed then.
Okay.
You're going to sleep in it. Wear your underwear 20 times. What kind of asinine answer is that?
It all makes sense now.
To you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? This is a perfect lead-in, which you guys always give me to today's question. And before we get into what we're going to talk about in our town. So, Taylor, I've heard some great things about a fundraiser that the Humane Society is doing.
That pretty amazing.
Wonderful.
Mike Martucci put up $5,000, and we're trying to match the funds to get to the shelter because they are in really dire need.
So when you're ready to do that, me and you will talk, and I will definitely participate in that.
Oh,
and you know what I feel about animals and animal shelters, and we have 2 rescues at home, and so we'll talk about that. What do we want to give away today? We're running out of outdoor dining time. Do we want to give out? Do we want to give some outdoor dining out? Whatever. What do you want to do, Taylor? What do we want to give away today?
We can do.
You do some outdoor. Well, they also can go indoors in a limited capacity.
Yeah, they can do a little bit of both.
You just have to. We actually ate indoors the other day. Actually, believe it or not, and Taylor's going to tell you about it.
Yep, we ate over at.
Thank you, Taylor. Let's move along. Look at her. You got to see her because she's so impatient. I just want to cut her off all day. This is great, Paul.
We ate it.
This is good. This is good.
Thanks, Taylor.
We ate it.
Yes, we did, Taylor.
We ate at Silvio's and we eat at Blarney. Those are our 2 favorites. So, and both of them have great food, just different ambiance.
And you can distance inside,
Absolutely.
But
we had a room to ourselves.
You have to call in advance because they fill up.
We're going to do $50 gift certificate to a local New Jersey or Warwick restaurant.
Okay,
for
or
Jersey
Orange
listeners
County.
Or Warwick.
Yeah, either way. Anywhere you want to go to dinner.
As long as it's local. We want to stay local.
Yeah, local into wherever they're living. Like local in New Jersey or local in here in Orange County.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, so if we have one of our internet listeners win from Texas, like my sister's listening, can they win?
Yeah,
Well, how are they going to go to dinner?
You send them a virtual certificate on the internet.
I'll give
I
them
guess.
a virtual burger.
There you go.
McDonald's. Okay, here we go. All right, this is a hard one.
Okay,
but we're good. Famed singer who played at Woodstock and started his career as a plumber.
Really?
Oh, interesting question.
Well, you know that would.
And we have lots of clues for this one because it's not
I
now.
love
we'll leave it at that for now.
Do not Google this one.
Well,
okay, I see him Googling, and I'm here. So.
The only thought I would have is it would have to be somebody that was old enough to have had a career before singing at Woodstock. So it wouldn't be one of the little kids.
I'm not going to shout anything out. 845-651-1110. First correct caller gets a $50 gift certificate to their favorite
limited
restaurant.
number, but there was a lot of people at Woodstock.
I can think of a few.
Yeah,
I
I can't
don't know if
imagine.
they're correct or
We have
not.
a bunch of. I think we're going to need on this one. As long as somebody doesn't Google it, we're going to need some clues. So we have a bunch of clues when we're ready. But let's talk about Frank. This subject today. I was on social media, which sometimes is good and sometimes is bad, but there's some really good social media work as long and bad. And a lot of people are asking about contractors, and they're really, really having trouble hiring contractors. And you watch these shows, Frank, which we know you love, This Old House and all the other
Homes
shows.
on Homes.
Right. And what people don't realize, the hardest part to me and the most important part for me of getting work done in your house is hiring that proper contractor. So, Frank, what would be the first thing if you're renovating your home or redoing a bathroom? What would be the first thing you think you should do to hire a contractor? How do you find a contractor? How do you find a reputable contractor?
Well, you know,
and that's
a lot of folks like to,
about.
a lot of folks like to, word of mouth. But then I've seen that on TV where they've come in and especially with shows like Taylor mentioned, Homes on Homes, where the guy they say, why did you hire this guy? Well, my neighbors used him and they liked him.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I would say the best thing if it's going to be a major project to get references and go to if there's a way you could see the work that the guy has done.
Better Business Bureau too.
More than anything else, I would say that would be the best way to do it.
And don't look on social media because if somebody has a thing with one person and they go up there and bash the person.
Yeah. So what would you say? What
that.
is the actual result there, Paul?
Well, I mean, so there's a lot of results, and so my feeling is absolutely look Better Business Bureau. I'm okay with social media, Taylor, as long as you understand what you're looking at.
Yeah, but you don't.
And you ask.
You get somebody who has a grudge or something, or.
I agree. I get it all the time, and so does everybody. Right. So that's one of the answers. But so I think word of mouth does the best. I really do. And so here's some of the things that I always tell people when they call me. Hey, Paul, I need a carpenter, or one of my friends who doesn't live in the state, and how do I find a plumber? And first thing is, how long has that contractor been in business? It's not always the best answer, but if somebody's been in business 30 years or 10 years, you pretty much know that they have a good reputation. And if they don't, so I would look for how long they've been in business. I would also look for references, personal recommendations, Better Business Bureau. Taylor, you're good. You're right on that. So once you do that, and now really, Frank, once you are interviewing your contractors, what are some of the most important questions that you think we should ask these contractors? Because now is really the hard part, to ask these questions as a contractors. And here, what do you guys think? Any ideas?
I would say, other than the fact if they watched Dallas as a kid, I would say that you'd want to know how they would accept payment, and you always want to make sure that you don't pay ahead of what the job is actually doing.
That was my follow-up to it. I was going to say, make a deal to give them a certain percentage of the money, and as long as a certain time limit is they've gotten to that point where they finish that amount they promised on a contract, then they get paid.
Because
I
see the biggest nightmare that people get is that they overpay the contractor and then the guy skips down.
Yeah, I don't do
Correct.
that.
So that is 100%. But before we even get there, let's talk about, is a contractor licensed? Right. So
insured.
We want to, and unfortunately, we live in a county, and I got to talk to Steve about this, where we really don't need licensing in our county.
What?
So I don't need a licensing plumber in Orange County, but when I go to get my hair cut, my barber needs a license.
What the heck are you talking about? You're saying that the plumbers do not need a license?
We're one of the largest counties in the state.
That's got to
plumbing
change.
license.
By the way, I have an FCC third class license with endorsement. Taylor does not. Enough said.
Right. And
true.
so do they have a license? So most states need a plumbing license or a license. Unfortunately, New York State does not. Orange County does not. Rockland County does. Westchester County does. Dutchess does. Putnam, but not Orange County for whatever reason.
So doesn't it open a door for people who are not, up to par in that field?
Horrible. And what happens is when you have a license, you at least have if you go to a vehicle to complain to the county where they can pull your license or they have your complaint. So yes, it opens up a door. Also having a license, we're going to talk about something really important, is insurance. Okay. Many contractors do not carry the proper insurance.
Right.
Contractors say they're licensed and insured.
Well, I would ask for
like you said, they have an FCC license.
But I would ask for a certificate of liability before I work with
anybody. And the reason
anybody.
being, Paul, too, if the guy walks in your house and slips or trips over a kid's
good luck.
toy and breaks his arm, he's going to sue you. If he's got insurance or if he causes damage to the home, you want to have that insurance in there. I know our landlord doesn't do that. She gets these guys that come over to work on the yard, and that's a scary thing because if he gets hurt or if something happens to the property.
We have insurance, just so you know.
Yeah, but that doesn't cover all that.
Yeah, but you know what, Taylor? So this is my 32nd year in business.
Wow.
And if I've had a customer ask me for an insurance certificate, because you can physically give me 5 times in 32 years, that's a lot. The most important thing you can do is ask your contractor for that insurance certificate. Make sure they have a liability insurance policy. Make sure they have a liability insurance policy not for $50,000. If your house is worth $300,000, you want that policy to be worth at least what your house is.
I mean, every business should have at least $1 million umbrella policy.
I'm not
legitimate
you,
business.
But you would not believe. Now we're going to talk into price. Why is somebody so low priced compared to everybody else?
Well, they're not paying for insurance.
Okay, do they have insurance? Okay, and there's 2 types of insurance they need. They need liability insurance, and they must have it. And I'm going to tell you, nobody asks for it. You have to ask for it. You don't take your contractor's word for it. Get it from their insurance broker. Okay, so have their insurance broker email.
Yeah, that's what we do when we do anything, and people need a certificate of liability from us. That's who does it for us. We ask the insurance company to produce it.
32 years in business, I've only had 5 customers ask me for my insurance.
Isn't that something?
By the way, we have $7 million, by the way, of insurance. It's more for my commercial work than my residential, but before I did commercial work, we had $5 million, okay?
Right.
The next thing is workman's comp. It's missed. If you have to
have
the
to have
contractor.
that. You have to have that when you're...
But a lot of contractors do not. So you have to ask the contractor, does he have workman's comp? And if he has workman's comp...
And disability.
Well, disability you cannot get sued for, but workman's comp, if he gets hurt on your job, you could get sued for it, okay, which is important. Okay, second part about the workman's comp, Taylor, is he hiring subcontractors? Do those subcontractors that he's hiring, who are those subcontractors, do they have workman's comp?
So when I produced events, every one of my subcontractors, whether it was audio, video, or it was production behind the scenes or editing, every one of them had to give me a certificate of liability. So,
but in a contracting world, everybody says they have it. I'm going to say it again for the 3rd time, but none of the customers ask us for it. Make sure you have it, okay? And to me, and you want the copies in your hand, and you want to make sure they have it.
Now, do they usually just ask you that when you're redoing a bathroom or a kitchen, or is it just for regular... plumbing?
Well, regular service calls, that's really hard, because we're doing it that day.
Right.
But I'm talking when a customer's redoing a bathroom, putting a deck on, renovating their house, whatever it might be, you want their insurance. And if they're using subcontractors, before you let any subcontractor walk in, you want their insurance also.
Now listen, Paul, years ago when you used the Yellow Pages, and today, looking on the internet, when you look for somebody's ad, they usually say licensed and have a license number on there. Is that good enough?
No. I mean, because, again, Orange County doesn't have a license. And you were laughing, but you said you have an FCC license. Well, I have a driver's license, okay? And is that license in the county that you're working on? Because different counties have different licenses. So it's a start, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. One other thing I want to bring up quickly, a lot of sole proprietors or people who work for themselves say, by law, I don't need workman's comp insurance, and they don't. The problem with that is you, as a homeowner, if that sole proprietor, that single person gets hurt at your house, he can still sue you. So even though he doesn't have workman's comp and he doesn't need it by law, be careful with that. Have your lawyer write something up to sign that you will not be liable if he gets hurt on your home.
I think that is urgent. I think everybody should have that when anybody's
And,
working.
earlier in the show, we were talking about people that make mistakes. And accidents can happen. I mean, the guy can be cutting a 2x4 in your house and a part of the wall falls down, or he gets hit with a nail or something, stupid things that, as careful as people are, things can happen.
Hold on a minute. We're forgetting the giveaway here, and we've got no calls.
That's right, yeah.
Has anybody called yet?
No. Come on, we got to give a hint.
I told you it's a hard question. All right.
All right, 845-651-1110. You get a $50 gift certificate to a restaurant. Okay, go ahead.
Let's ready for our first clue?
Yes.
All right, we might give two here.
Well, repeat.
We'll give one anyway.
Repeat the one you did first.
Okay, so what famed singer who played at Woodstock started his career as a plumber? Okay, so I said him, so that's one clue. But the next clue is he was British.
All right, so there weren't too many British.
Wait a second, was he with a group?
No.
Okay.
All right, so Taylor thinks she has a clue there.
Okay, and then the next one we'll definitely give it out.
All right.
We'll give it away.
All right, we'll do that in a little bit.
We have two right now.
All
right. 845-651-1110. First correct caller gets that $50 gift certificate to a restaurant.
I like when we have a good question, but we need a winner.
I know.
So
this is tough. Unless they can Google it. Let me see if I can Google it, and then I'll let you know.
Would you stop that?
Wait.
Oh,
All right,
we got the phones are ringing.
Phones are ringing
All
right
right
now. So Taylor's going to go over to the phone and do that thing. So while we're doing that, let's see where we all go. So
and Frank, I want to also talk a little bit, as we talked about insurance, some of the things that I think, and I do myself, but I think a homeowner should ask: are your employees background checked? Are your employees that are working drug tested? Are the employees or the subcontractors coming to your house, do they have lettered vehicles? This stuff is really, really important to a homeowner and homeowner safety. And a lot of, we tell all the homeowners that, but a lot of homeowners don't ask that. But safety of the homeowner by drug testing, background testing, lettered vehicles, uniforms are really, really important for a homeowner.
We have somebody on the line. I don't know if this is a correct answer or not. But
we're going to find out.
We are going to find out. This happens to be one of my favorite singers. We lost him not long ago. And he sings one of my favorite songs, but I'm not sure if this is the guy. So we're going to find out here. What's your first name? What town are you calling from?
Peter from Glenwood.
All right, Peter, tell them who you think the singer is.
I'm going to go out on a limb because of age, and I would say Joe Cocker.
You got it.
Wow.
Congratulations.
That was a good answer. I think people forgot he's from England. I really do.
I definitely did. I thought he was. I keep forgetting he's from England.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
Like I said, it would have to be somebody that had the career before. So It wasn't somebody in their 20s. It wasn't going to be like I don't know.
So was his
Hendrix or anybody
Hendrix
like
or
that.
Grace Slick or something like that, yeah.
I was thinking of Stephen Stills, but he was too young.
Hey, if Hendrix was a plumber, I would have been really excited. I would have put that on my resume.
Can you imagine Joe Cocker giving you the bill? It's like, what? How much? What? They talk about a guy.
Maybe that's what happened to him. He was a plumber
He
first.
wasn't even licensed to sing. That guy, he couldn't understand what he was saying.
He was great.
He's a great
I
artist.
love Joe
He might
Cocker.
have dropped the toilet on his foot.
That's how he got the way he was and his unique motions.
Now it makes sense.
On stage.
Now he definitely sniffed too much drain cleaner. I agree. I mean, absolutely.
Right. Well, Peter, listen, I want you to email me at taylor@wtbq.com, your name, address, and phone number for the contest rules, and I will pass that on to the R Plumber.
And do you have a favorite restaurant in Jersey or
New York? Either one.
Oh, sure. There's plenty, but I really like Tony Papa's in Middletown.
Well, they're closing,
Are they?
I know. That's why we got to get there.
They're almost 70 years. They're going to be closing.
Wow.
Well, that's good. So that's perfect. Just put that in the email to Taylor, and we'll take care of it.
Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do.
Hey, great job.
All right, take
Thank
care.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, pretty cool stuff.
Taylor, that was my next clue. What's the song that we all love that he sang, that he made, that
you are so
made
beautiful.
him pretty much famous at Woodstock?
You are so beautiful.
At Woodstock, I doubt that one. That was 5 years later. With a little help from my friends. I don't know.
Yeah, the Beatles' "Little Help from My Friends," which
that's...
became like the generational anthem.
Oh, it's a great song.
Yeah, you should
play it. It is a great song.
You should play it.
We should.
You know, absolutely. And I don't know what time he came on. I don't know if he came on first thing in the morning.
I don't know.
Yeah, but, you know, if Joe Cocker showed up at your door to do plumbing, you'd look at him and go, this guy isn't licensed. You know, I can't imagine his truck isn't lettered. You know, the guy's hardly staggering in over here, you know.
But he sings good.
That's what, you know, listen, and if I show up on your doorstep to sing, I don't know what would happen there.
You know, you hear
lock the door.
You hear some singing coming from the shower and you go, nah, it's just the plumber. He's working in there right now. So,
you know what,
pretty cool.
Frank, I never thought of that. The singing plumbers. We can start doing singing and plumbing at the same time.
Do you have any guys
acoustics are right there.
Do you have any guys that work for you that are good singers?
I don't know that I'm, hard enough to get good plumbers, Taylor. But I think I'm changing the ad on Indeed, right? We're gonna have to.
You must sing.
Right. I can't find good plumbers now. Now we're gonna add singing to it. Right?
That's right.
They're gonna have to come
plumber.
in and audition for you
great.
and Frank singing.
Oh,
wow.
God forbid.
But no, that is pretty
my
good.
shower shuts off when I sing.
I would never have guessed Joe Cocker. That was tough. That was really tough.
You gotta go. That's very.
That is pretty cool.
I forgot to ask him if he Googled it.
Yeah, I was. I couldn't. I thought it was somebody from the Who, like Roger Daltrey.
I don't think he Googled it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to say Roger Daltrey or something like that. I could see him doing it, but pretty cool stuff. So, all right. So when we get people that come over, any type of a contractor, plumber, whatever it may happen to be, these are all things that we need to know so that the job, in case something goes wrong, we're covered. And of course, they're professional enough that they could do the job the proper way.
Absolutely, Frank. It's really, really important. You hear so much of people who get taken by their contractors or the job doesn't get done or so that's important. And now we go to the contract, and I know we're running out of time, but that's where you and Taylor started, is what to put in a contract, right? You want a written contract, 100% agreed, Frank. You want an estimated start date, which is really important, and a completion date, right? How many times do people say, oh, I hired a contractor, it's been 6 months already, he's supposed to, get a date, get a firm completion date from that contractor. Taylor, you talked about money. That's a big situation. I cannot tell you how many times people call us and they've overpaid that contractor and now don't have
we've been
contractor
through it.
Leaves. Right. Huge.
We had a guy, we had a plumber come in, this is way before we knew you, and gave us a estimate of $900 to, what was it, the two pieces that were in the toilet and change out the faucet in the bathtub.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying.
But we didn't pay the guy. But what you're basically talking about is,
was
because
insane.
Plumbers and people are trying to do as many jobs as they can get, and if a whole bunch comes in at once,
$30
they're going to put your
of,
job on the side if they've already gotten paid in advance and do all these other jobs.
Exactly.
You had $30 worth of stuff. The two inserts for the toilet and the faucet for the bathtub. Come on, $900. Give me a break.
Or Frank, a lot of contractors, even the bigger contractors, aren't financially smart, right? They don't understand finances. So they're taking your deposit. They're not using it on your job. They're using it to pay for the job that they did before that. So your deposit's gone at this point. So truthfully, number one is don't pay in cash. Any contractor who's pushing for cash and wants a discount for cash, that gets me nervous. Are they paying their taxes? Is there tax liens on them? Why do they want this cash? So really be careful when a contractor only wants cash. Okay, are they doing things under the books? So you want to be careful. I'm okay with cash, but just be careful why that contractor wants cash. I would not give them any more than 20% down payment. I would never let the contractor get ahead of you in payments. Say, oh, well, I can't get to your next phase until you pay me money. I hear that all the time. Don't do that. Say no. Do the next phase, and then pay them. So really, these are really important things, and unfortunately, this happens every day. I hear it every day, and I see it every day. And really, that is the other thing I want to talk to you about is think locally. Taylor, I know you agree with that, right? A local contractor.
Listen, we started the mantra, buy local, shop local, so yes.
I get calls all the time now because of our reputation, how long we've been in business, and a lot of customers are calling out of our service area, like, well, we heard about you. Will you come here? Will you go to Westchester? Will you go there? And I generally say no. And the reason I say no is we said this on the show before. If something goes wrong and I'm an hour away, how can I service you at 2 a.m. on a Sunday morning?
Right.
You need to be able to service that contractor. And when you don't live in the town, it's a little bit easier to take off because the person's not going to see you at ShopRite.
Right.
So try to think locally. The frustration with some people is that, they can't find a local contractor. But believe me, if another contractor in this economy, because the economy is really good for contracting right now because people are doing things at their home, has to drive an hour away to get work, there's a reason that contractor's not getting work in their town. Right? Just think about
it.
No
Makes
doubt
sense.
about
Yeah,
it.
it makes
no
sense.
doubt about it. Listen, I sent you a text about famous people who were originally plumbers. So we're going to take a look. Maybe we can use some of those in the future.
Down the road as it goes. But, Paul, no, very good stuff. If you're going to look at hiring somebody who's non-professional, you think of the easy jobs like maybe the kid down the street's going to cut your grass or help you paint the shed.
Yeah,
things
different.
like that. But when it comes to something that
we
is
don't
going to be
play
in your
with
home,
plumbing or electric.
and they're going to be on ladders or they're going to be doing this or anything, make sure you hire a professional to make sure you're covered on both ends, both monetarily and that the job's going to be done the right way the first time. So it's good stuff. Paul, you guys have been doing it for a long time, and you guys have obviously crossed all the T's, dotted all the I's on this stuff,
No doubt.
and have it covered because you've been through the whole route.
Yeah,
so
if people want to reach out and find out more about Nebrasky Plumbing, where do they go?
Really, NebraskyPlumbing.com, or
Very
you can
easy.
email us at info@NebraskyPlumbing.com. And again, as I always say, text the station with any questions. And really, it could be plumbing, contracting. We're going to help you any way we can.
Yeah, send in the questions when Paul's on, and he's on with us every Tuesday too. So when he's on, he'll answer your questions. The text number is 328 0886 845-328-0886.
get some free plumbing advice, heating advice, cooling advice, and go from there.
Before we
and
let
today's
him,
plumbing advice was put down the toilet seat frame. You got it, right?
Yeah.
That's today.
So before we let
when
him,
Taylor's coming in.
Before we let him go, I want to talk about the shelter for a minute because an interesting thing happened. I don't know if you were listening.
An interesting thing happened on the way to the shelter.
Yeah. I took Stephen Keeter with us the day Mike Martucci gave away the money because he's a builder and I wanted Susan to ask him about certain things that are on her architectural renderings. And he came in and he asked them the price that they were quoted and he said, why? Do you have prevailing wage? And she said, absolutely not. We're a nonprofit. So they were getting ripped off. And he has agreed to work with them and get local subcontractors to work. He already saved them close to $300,000. And he's going to be calling you, actually.
Right, and that's a lot that we were talking about, right? So here's Susan, who runs a shelter wonderfully, needs to hire a contractor, right? And this is really what we're talking about today, right? How to find the proper contractor to do her job, and forget about the money, the $300,000. Now she also has to be careful with, and I'm sure Stephen will do that, of if she needs prevailing wage or not, because there's some state laws in New York State.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't. She's
okay,
already
that I
checked.
agree with. If you're using state grants, a lot of times they will ask you that the job.
No, she
is
already
prevailing
checked on
wage.
that. She did get
good.
She did get a grant, and there is no prevailing wage attached to it because they're a nonprofit. There's
and the grant's only a very small portion of the whole amount that's been raised.
Exactly.
Yeah, the prevailing wage things. Please don't get me started on prevailing wage.
Oh no, everybody feels the same way. Absurd.
Okay, But that that's a really good way to end. So somebody like Susan needs to understand a lot of things. Needs a person like Stephen. I will help her to find the right contractors to do her job. And everything we just talked about today really works. With especially with a nonprofit. Boy, you work so hard to get that money, and you're going to lose it because you have a bad contractor.
Exactly.
I mean, that is that's really really important. And unfortunately I see it every single day, Taylor.
I hear you.
So today, wasn't as funny about toilets and stuff, but it was just as important. I don't like to see people lose their hard-earned money or shelter.
Or my hard-earned money, that's for sure.
That's for sure, and they want the job done right. So, Paul, we'll catch up with you real soon. You
next
be safe
Tuesday
out there.
for sure.
It's most definitely, and we'll talk with you there, and we'll keep on rolling along into the fall here. We'll talk to you in October.
Thank you for the second Our Town because
you're
it
welcome.
really
We
made
love
my
having-
day.
we love
it really
having
did.
you
It was a great fill-in today.
Send my best to Eileen.
Hey, yeah, good. I don't like being called a fill-in, but I'll take it. Okay, I'll take it.
At the dentist.
There's no fill-in on this date, by the way.
Well,
you are it.
You are the guy. All right,
Hey,
Paul.
guys,
All right, take care. Be well.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.